St. Martin is mourning the death of two local aviation icons. Director of the St. Martin Medical Center issues reminder to visitors and the community. But first up, Prime Minister gives update of the local COVID-19 cases. Those are the headlines for Wednesday, April the 1st, 2020. This is SXM Daily News. I'm Valerie Van Putten. Now for the details. Dutch St. Martin has recorded its first COVID-19 related death. The death was confirmed on Tuesday evening. The amount of confirmed coronavirus COVID-19 cases now has almost tripled on Tuesday, with 16 confirmed cases on Dutch St. Martin. Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs said in a briefing late Tuesday evening that the person who died on Tuesday was a suspected case who was under self-isolation at home.
People of St. Martin, this is the reality. We are already 1 month into our fight against COVID-19 locally, and we can now say, as of today, that we have 16 confirmed cases. Yes, of the 19 pending cases that we had yesterday, 10 of them have been confirmed, bringing our numbers officially to 16. I have been informed that also one person who was a suspected case in isolation at home has passed away today, thus recording one death. The details of the recently confirmed cases, as well as that of the deceased person, are not yet known, and at present I will not be able to give any more information until that is known. What I can say, however, is that we now have quarantined and being monitored 288 persons. That has gone down as daily persons are reaching their 14-day quarantine and are released. If they develop symptoms, then they go to the isolation cases, and our isolation cases are now at 103. In total, we have tested 58 persons, and with 16 positive and 36 negative. 6 tests are still pending. I also do not have the details as to whether those who have tested positive form part of the 6 persons that have been admitted to St. Martin Medical Center over the past 3 to 4 days.
Due to the late arrival of the Prime Minister's update, we are unable to bring you the latest update this evening. We will, however, bring you the Prime Minister's full speech in tomorrow's edition of SXM Daily News. The Prime Minister also said that despite the difficulties that we are currently experiencing in securing additional support from the Kingdom, the Prime Minister hopes that this week they will be able to finalize that. She made the comment in her national address of Tuesday, March the 31st.
Despite the difficulties that we are currently experiencing securing additional support within the Kingdom, we have continued to upscale our capacities by setting up the pavilion to hold at least 10 to 20 persons who are COVID-19 confirmed and suspect that they are in need of medium temporary care. We expect that during this week, we will be able to finalize that. It must be stated that the proposal of the additional 6-bed will also include servicing Saba and St. Eustatius. St. Martin already serves as an overflow for the regular patients from Saba and St. Eustatius. And with our limited capacity now at maximum, if there is a situation on St. Eustatius right now, while completely willing, we simply would not have the capacity to be able to assist. That is simply our reality. I knew and I believe that I believe that it should be made clear to the general public of St. Martin that we are in a Dutch kingdom. We cannot go and gather funds from other places without the permission of the Dutch. From any other location that we ask permission, the Dutch would be the conduit to permit such. Even for loans, we would require the permission of the CFT as well as the Kingdom Council of Ministers. This is our situation. The Netherlands has made it noted in no uncertain terms that they are also currently in a crisis and that all of us collectively and individually we moeten roeien met de riemen die we hebben. which basically says that we have to somehow make do with what we have. We must make the best of this situation, and we will, because we are a resilient people. We are being proactive, but even in being proactive, we have had delays in terms of being able to get what we need to St. Martin in time and in advance of an outbreak, which we are now experiencing. Included in this request is the one for military assistance, which was made some 11 days ago, and up until today, March 31st, no answer has been received. This is still being discussed, and we look forward to a response. As such, I must inform the people of St. Martin that even with the announcements made last night of the measures to go into place today, even more stringent measures are needed in order to protect you, the people of St. Martin. As of Sunday midnight, as I stated before, what the government of St. Martin has instituted thus far is a curfew with limited movement and no movement in the evening. The limited movement is from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Let me remind you, limited movement is from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. From 8 p.m. to 6 a.m., there should be no movement, unless, of course, it's an emergency or work-related. This curfew only allows for essential movement during the daytime with a disaster pass, a professional travel proof, or a personal travel waiver. These documents I have explained in my presentation of yesterday.
The island was sent into shock earlier this week with the sad news that St. Martin has lost two of our aviation icons, Kenneth Kong and Larry Donker. Kenneth Kong was the Director of Operations and Deputy Managing Director at the Princess Juliana International Airport. Then he moved on to become the Managing Director at Menzies Aviation, and later was a consultant for the airport and for Windward Island Airways, Winair. His contributions, mentorship, dedication, and kindness reached many hearts in the aviation industry and in our local community. He will be remembered fondly by those who knew him and worked with him. And then former interim CEO at the Princess Juliana International Airport, Mr. Larry Donker, passed away today on April the 1st, 2020. He was one of the co-founders and production manager at the Foundation Broadcast Network, FBN, a local company that produced various local programs on the island back in the 1980s and 1990s. Larry Donker started as an air traffic controller at the Princess Juliana International Airport, then became operations manager at the airport. He then moved on to become the interim managing director until his retirement back in 2017. SXM Daily News extends our heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of the late Kenneth Kong and Larry Donker, those who are left to mourn. And still to come, French and Dutch police patrolling both sides in joint border controls. I'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
GBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
And as we continue now with more news, the police force of St. Martin started coordinating controls together with their French side counterparts on Friday, March 27, 2020. It was done in order to enforce the restricted movement of persons as part of the preventative measures to avoid the further spread of the coronavirus. to broaden the enforcement capabilities of police organizations from French St. Martin and Dutch St. Martin, a decision was taken to bring together personnel from both police forces to patrol the entire island together on Tuesday, March 31st, 2020. The first combined patrol between the police of Dutch St. Martin and French St. Martin was implemented. The first combined police control consisted of members of the French and Dutch police, and it started around 3 p.m. and ended at 5 p.m. These mixed controls and combined controls will be extended in the future. The decision to have mixed controls working on both sides of the island was realized in a meeting held at the police station in Phillipsburg on Monday, March 30th, 2020, between the Chief of the St. Martin Police Force, KPSM, Mr. Carl John, and Commander of the Gendarmerie, Mr. Stefan Basso. And St. Martin Medical Center are reminding the public of no photo or no video policy. The St. Martin Medical Center has issued a reminder to the public that it is not allowed to take any photos or videos while on St. Martin Medical Center premises. This includes the parking lot. SXM Daily News, speaking to the St. Martin Medical Center director, Dr. Felix Holliday, who said that it is to ensure the patient's privacy.
In principle, during and of course during the admission of patients, pertaining of course to the problem of the COVID and pandemic at the moment, we have been obliged to create additional evaluation space around the hospital in order to limit exposure. Therefore, patients will be assessed in and around the emergency room. Now, the waiting room also concentrates itself around that area, and we have noticed that patients in the waiting area tends to take pictures of clients coming to the St. Martin Medical Center, which is actually not appropriate for that this activity takes place. So therefore, we have issued recently a no photo, no video policy to avoid these images being spread via social media, which can have, of course, you're violating the patient privacy, and which can have sometimes a negative effect on clients coming to the St. Martin Medical Center and the staff.
And still at the St. Martin Medical Center, in the interest of public health and in an effort to be proactive in minimizing the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, St. Martin Medical Center, SMMC, has suspending all patient visiting hours from Thursday, April the 2nd, 2020, until further notice. SXM Daily News spoke to the director of the St. Martin Medical Center and chairman of the St. Martin Medical Center Outbreak Management Team, Dr. Felix Holliday, about this decision as well.
Yeah, we have taken that decision to suspend visiting hours as of April 2nd due to the fact that we have the rise in the amount of cases admitted to the St. Martin Medical Center have deemed it necessary to avoid as less traffic as we can throughout the hospital, because the care around these patients is quite intensive, and by limiting the amount of people in the hospital, limiting the exposure to the visitors, and also increasing the safety of the staff when moving through the hospital for this purpose.
So that means that no one is allowed to go and visit anyone in the hospital until further notice?
No one is allowed to visit anyone in the hospital until further notice. Yeah, that's correct.
And St. Martin Medical Center also urges the public to call the Collective Prevention Services, CPS hotline 914 or 452-1122 or 542-1222 if they have any questions or require additional information regarding COVID-19. SMMC's Outbreak Management Team will share information in subsequent press releases. And the SHTA emphasizes concern for economic decline. Over 580 companies, approximately 20% of the total count of operational businesses supporting over 8,000 employees, submitted entries to business survey conducted by the SHTA for Thursday, March 26th, until Sunday, March 29th. The results are clear: acute job loss, lack of income for households, and long-lasting economic decline if swift measures are not taken to mitigate financial impact of the worldwide pandemic. The effects of this pandemic are not only causing a worldwide health crisis, but also a financial one. There have already been more than 3 million people laid off in the United States, thus impacting our largest segment of visitors. The cruise industry has taken a major hit with recommendations from major countries against traveling via cruise. To alleviate short-term unemployment, which is inevitable, with only very few types of businesses allowed to operate and earn turnover, the St. Martin Hospitality and Trade Association, SHTA, has proposed a reduction of the TOT tariff to 0% and a 90% payroll subsidy to all sectors. This proposal is endorsed by the St. Martin Timeshare Association, the St. Martin Marine Trades Association, and the Indian Merchants Association, as well as the labor union WIFO. The proposal, while it may seem high, is aimed at keeping businesses alive and employees paid. Now turning to our weather forecast. The atmosphere across the region will continue to be relatively dry and stable. Consequently, precipitation will be restricted during this forecast period. Additionally, a loose pressure gradient will maintain a light to gentle breeze. Seas will remain slight to moderate through the next few days. Now, let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, President of WICSU says authorities lack knowledge of the role of the unions. We'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
And as we continue the news, in this notice and reminder from our utility company, GBE, NVGBE hereby informs the general public that their main office in Phillipsburg is closed to the general public until further notice. And a reminder that their branch office in Simpson Bay is also closed until further notice. For emergencies, you can call from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., 546-1100 or 546-1160. From 3 p.m. until 588-3117. Let me repeat those numbers for you. For emergencies, please call from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., 546-1100 or 546-1160. And then from 3 p.m. until 588-3117. President of the Windward Island Civil Servants Union, Claire Elshot, and President of the WIFO, Theophilus Thompson, feels that those in authority lacks knowledge of the role of the unions and how they can perform. They were speaking to reporters at their weekly press conference on Thursday last, March 26, 2020. According to Mrs. Elshot, they are keeping back the social development of our community.
I feel that the people that are in place, they lack, number one, knowledge of, the role of really the unions. They lack also the insight in how unions can provide and perform and provide the necessary part of the solutions that they would have. The inclusion, the social dialogue, the whole aspect on ILO and ILO conventions. Some of these persons came in and probably they just don't have that type of knowledge and insight. And by not having that and willing to to, work on certain issues, they are keeping back that development, social development in this country. So when you put a minister to do a job, a minister that is an aristocrat and have money, etc., do you think he would be thinking on the poor and needy? And even though you show or you bring forward certain things, they are not sensitive because they cannot live the life or the imagination of how people are in here. If that was the case, we would have never had a pond island with those houses there. If that was the case, that St. Martin politicians and St. Martin members of parliament, members of ministers were really concerned, that is right in their backyard. Whenever they open a window or they jump up a stairs to go to their office and they see that, they should have been one to put in a project for social housing to start with. How long haven't we had that? A social housing bill on St. Martin. How long would we continue to talk about a living wage? Only when there is a campaign trail, a campaign train where elections have to be won? No, this is something real that people are living in St. Martin. As anti-poverty platform, we have been indicating since the onset about not alleviation of poverty. We have to eradicate poverty. They have the the Sustainable Development Goals that has to be accomplished by 2030. Gosh, we are 10 years away because now we are in 2020. 10 years away. Tell me, when are you going to hear the social development of our people being tackled? Their rights to that social development. When are we going to hear that?
Caribbean workers have been the leader globally in establishing the ILO. That's number one. Number two, because of the progressiveness of workers within Netherlands Antilles, the Antilles, they receive an autonomous position in 1954. And from that initiative that the masses took in the Antilles, the European colonizers realized that we have to liberate these colonies. Therefore, in 1960, the UN, and with over 50-something independent countries, agreed that by the year 2000, there should be no more colonies in the world. We are now at 2020. As a matter of fact, that was extended to 2 other decades. So by the year 2010, there should have been no more colonies. And it went to 1 more decade, which is this year, 2020. And over the years, we have had different referendums to decide where you want to go, what you want to do. And as far as I could recall, only 2 leaders in the Antilles really voiced, political leaders, because the trade unions, we know our rights, and we know what is to be a colony and what it is to be decolonized. But as politicians, you had Betiko from Aruba that voiced publicly independence of Aruba. And you had here in St. Martin, Claude, that proclaimed that. When Sabre was going through some, let's say, colonial oppression, you find Will Johnson went to the UN, bypassed everybody, and went there to champion the cause of Sabre a couple of years ago. Don't know what happened, but that seems to have died down. Anyhow, the Antilles broke up. 1010, everybody on their own, and like we said earlier, it's like we've gone forward. We're either stagnant or we've gone backwards. In our arena in labor, I can surely say we have gone backwards because the unions were more involved in the decision-making process than we're involved now. And that's why we had to call all the unions in the Antilles to meet this week, which because of the situation worldwide. we had to cancel. But that will come for sure. But for St. Martin, the falling of government every year and so on was a real setback also for progress.
And still to come, First Caribbean Bank donates $250,000 to purchase crucial testing kits. I'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns. And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News, regional bank CIBC First Caribbean is moving to assist countries across the region to purchase much-needed COVID-19 testing kits. The bank, through its charitable arm, the First Caribbean International Calm Trust Foundation, will donate a total of $250,000 towards the purchase of the kits in the countries across its regional footprints. The bank will make the donation through its various operating companies across the Caribbean. Chief Executive Officer of the bank and Chair of the Foundation, Ms. Colette Delaney, made the announcement noting that testing was one of the main weapons in the arsenal against the spread of this disease. I am Valerie Van Putten, and just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, we thank you for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again tomorrow.